Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your Payback 2015 preview and predictions.
Yo, what's going on, guys? John, aka VocalAggression, here alongside my cohort in commentary, and yes, as he said, Payback 2015 preview and predictions. I gotta say, this card to me, save for like maybe a match or two, looks really impressive. I'm actually really looking forward to Payback. I think it's going to be a really great show. The main event, I feel like, was built up really well. Some matches, I'm intrigued how they're going to play out. So I think some great discussions are going to ensue in this video, Ashton. I'm excited to talk about this pay-per-view with you.
It feels as though there are at least two, maybe even three potential main event matches on this card.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, no further ado. Let's get into the pre-show, the kickoff, whatever you want to call it. I hate the WWE can't make up their minds. The Meta Powers, which is Axelmania and Macho Mandow, versus the Ascension.
You know, I want to care about this match because I honestly like both teams. Well, I mean, in the sense of both teams, like I'm a fan of Curtis Axel by himself, and I do like Damien Sandow, even though I'm not crazy about this latest iteration of him. You know, this whole Macho Mandow thing. And the Ascension, I mean, you and I love them in NXT. I think it's a crying shame what they've been doing. I really thought they would have been tag team champions. Hell, I'm not even going to say now. I'll say long before now. And they're here. So it's hard to get invested in this match, even though I like everybody involved. But honestly, I'm thinking the Ascension's going to win here. I don't think the Meta Powers are going to get their win right away. They are more of a comedic act. I could see the Ascension really more or less steamrolling them after somewhat of a fighting effort. I see Axel eating the pin after the fall of man, so Ascension gets the win for me.
Okay. Here's my thing. What is the point of this match if you don't establish the Meta Powers as a thing?
You know what? I honestly don't even know. But I think the reason I'm picking the heels is I don't even know how long they want this program to go on for. If this is going to be a one-off thing, then I honestly would agree with you. You know, Meta Powers does seem to make sense here. But I could see, I mean, what are they really going to do?
Dude, it's the WWE. For all we know, the Meta Powers could be the next tag team champions.
And you know, I've even told you in conversation, that would not shock me. Like, I feel like if this team takes off enough and gets over enough, yeah, they will be tag title contenders like a few months down the road. I don't know, though. Just a gut feeling I have. I think the Ascension's going to go over in this match. I do think the Meta Powers are going to beat them down the road, just not at Payback.
Okay.
So,
I would be happier if the Ascension won, but I am picking the Meta Powers.
okay. So
all right.
You have Meta Powers, I have Ascension.
Yeah, our first match of the night and our first disagreement of the night, but sadly, this disagreement doesn't really warrant a whole ton of discussion.
Right.
So let's just move on. Probably the least relevant match on the main card, and this is what happens when you don't have the women defend the championship, the tag team match. Naomi and Tamina versus the Bella Twins. And the biggest reason that I'm doing this first is because allegedly Brie Bella might not be able to make this match.
If she's not able to make this match, then we should just make it the match that we should have gotten anyway.
Naomi versus Nikki, yeah. Or even a triple threat if they want to get Tamina in there.
I mean, hell, if you want to, like, spark that tension so early between, you know, Tamina and Naomi, I understand. Hell, you know, do what you want. I just feel like this tag match, assuming it happens, you know, makes no sense. And here's the thing. Even if the tag match does happen, my result's going to be the same as if it was just, you know, a one-on-one championship match. To me, Naomi needs to pin Nikki Bella here so that she can really have a firm foot in being the number one contender. I feel like that really sends a message, you know, on the pay-per-view, and then maybe the Raw after, or hell, at Elimination Chamber, you know, 2 weeks after, you go and, you know, you have the Divas Championship match, and you finally have Naomi get her win. I feel like, you know, having Brie eat the pin here, to me, yeah, that's probably the route they're going to go in all honesty, but I would prefer to see Nikki eat the pin to really punctuate it for the heel team, the heel team, in quotes, of Naomi and Tamina. So
hard quotes.
See. Yeah, hard quotes, definitely.
You know what? Based exclusively on the fact that it's a win-win for me, because in one case I'm happy I won, and in the other case I'm happy because of the result, I'm just going to pick the Bella Twins to win.
Right.
If it does end up turning into a title defense for Nikki Bella, I am still going to pick Nikki Bella to win.
Oh, interesting.
She's got that pull, bro.
Yeah, she really does. It's a damn shame.
But yeah, we disagree on that as well, but it's not a matter of one of us wanting someone to win and the other person wanting someone else to win. We both want Naomi to win. I just don't believe that she will.
Right. Yeah, this isn't like one of those widespread chasm disagreements that sometimes you and I have on the
Yeah.
the middle card matches. So,
Right.
yeah.
Speaking of middle card matches, let's get into the mid card matches themselves. We have two different options here, John, both kind of stemming from a feud that's been getting tons of tag team matches over the course of the last month. I'm going to let you pick which one we talk first about. King Barrett versus Neville and Dolph Ziggler versus Sheamus.
Let's do King Barrett versus Neville first.
Okay.
To me, it's so funny, Ashton, because I'm seeing a lot of people actually picking that King Barrett's going to pick up the W, and I don't know if I speak for you in that camp. We're going to find out here in a moment. But I just feel like Neville's been on such a roll lately, putting on these clinics. He came within an eyelash of beating John Cena. In fact, it seemed like a foregone conclusion, like he was going to beat him, if not for Rusev's interference. So I really don't see any reason why he would lose to Barrett here. But then again, I mean, to be sympathetic to the other argument, people are saying, well, if you're serious about pushing Barrett, giving him the King of the Ring title, he should go over here. He should beat Neville. But I just think Neville's the hotter prospect at the moment, so I'm going with Neville to beat King Barrett here.
Well, John, let me put it this way: when Sheamus won King of the Ring, what was the result of his first pay-per-view match after that?
I feel like his first pay-per-view match after that was a loss, if I'm not
To
mistaken.
John Morrison.
Yes.
Yeah. So I would rather believe that the WWE has no idea what to do with the King of the Ring title than believe that they honestly want to push Wade Barrett more than they want to push Adrian Neville.
Right.
So I'm going to also pick Neville to win.
All right. Yeah, good stuff, man.
Okay, now we can talk about the other of the two big mid-card matches, Dolph Ziggler versus Sheamus. I think it's pretty clear in this match that Sheamus is getting his win back.
Definitely. I mean, I already gave my reasons at Extreme Rules. I just felt like the Kiss Me Arse match, or matches like that, are not meant for heels to win, but rather to get heat. And now that this is a straightforward one-on-one contest, yeah, it's going to be a great match, I think, between these two guys. But I do
Always
see
is.
Sheamus. Oh yeah, definitely. I do see Sheamus picking up the W, and I think things are about to get really interesting for Sheamus, considering Elimination Chamber is in 2 weeks, and the Intercontinental Championship will be decided in that chamber. I consider Sheamus an early favorite, and I think that starts by him beating Ziggler here.
Yeah, all right. So up next, let's talk about the only match on this card that's left without any championship implications, Ryback versus Bray Wyatt.
I would say the most intriguing match, that doesn't have championships or whatever on this card, because, you have so many people talk about the direction of Bray Wyatt anymore, concern for him, this, that, and the other. How can he be built back? I'm really excited about this match. I think it's going to be great. This is actually probably the most difficult one to predict, to be honest, for me. Because on the one hand, I feel like Ryback may be getting ready to do something in the next couple months, potentially with Seth Rollins in the WWE Championship. I feel like Ryback is kind of in that place where he could be a title contender like that at any moment. So logic would say, he beats Bray Wyatt here. However, I do think this is a worthwhile program, not just a one-off. So personally, I would like to see Ryback, kind of feud with Bray Wyatt a little bit. So to do that, I think it would be best if Bray Wyatt got the win here. So I think Bray Wyatt is going to beat Ryback in their first matchup here at Payback. So I'm going with Bray Wyatt.
See, and to me, a lot of the time we say that if you want the feud to continue, the heel needs to win, right?
Right.
To me, it's more on the lines of if you want the feud to continue, the person doing the chasing can't win.
So, since Bray's been pursuing Ryback, then you think it's more logical that Ryback goes over.
I think that Ryback needs to go over here if the WWE wants this program to last for more than 1 month.
Interesting.
Because to me, if Bray Wyatt is going after Ryback and he beats him on his first try, what is there to go after anymore?
It's funny because we're using, I mean, slightly modified on each side, but we're pretty much using the same argument of, a longevity of this feud, but looking at it different ways to get that longevity.
Right. I mean, if Bray Wyatt is really pursuing Ryback, what exactly is his motivation after he already has Ryback beat?
See, and that's an excellent point that I have to concede. And you know what? Honestly, I may even have to revise my pick because that's a really good point. And the funny thing is, Ryback, and not
Ryback's
Ryback.
been beating Rusev at house shows, for God's sake.
Yeah, he's been beating Rusev in house shows. Ryback's in a very interesting place because I feel like he's got momentum going for him. And again, I honestly believe he could be a contender for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship sometime during Seth Rollins' run. That said, Bray Wyatt's in a more intriguing place. Now, I'm not like a lot of people, and I think you know that, Ashton, where it's like, oh, Bray Wyatt's dead, he's no good, like he's done. He's so young, and we thought he was dead when he feuded with Cena, and then this past WrestleMania he had a match with the Undertaker that I personally really enjoyed. So I'm not like that. I'm not doomsday or anything like that, but he is in a very interesting place. I just got done reading a report recently, actually, that he may be set for a babyface turn soon. And that's always kind of intrigued me because I've heard murmurs like that before. So it could just be more smoke or it could be whatever. So if Bray wins, I mean, what does he do? I mean, I've kind of expected him to chase that championship for a while now, but obviously it wouldn't make sense because Rollins is currently the champion. So maybe, yeah, Ryback is kind of his focus for the time being. So maybe it would make more sense for Ryback to win. Like I said, this is the most difficult match for me to call. But I think you make a great point. So you know what? I haven't done this in a while, but I think I'm going to come around to you. I think I'm going to change my pick to Ryback getting the win. Yeah,
Aha! How about that?
yeah, you know what? Look, I can't deny good logic, man. I mean, sometimes I do go with my gut feelings, yes, and I mean, as early as Extreme Rules, very rarely it pays off. But you make a really good argument about Bray Wyatt and Ryback. I can't ignore it. So yeah, I think Ryback will get the win.
Yeah, because to me, I think it's going to be one of those 3-month programs or 3 pay-per-view programs where Ryback wins the first one, and then Bray Wyatt wins the next 2, so that he's considered the winner of the feud overall.
Let me ask you something though, Ashton. Like this program, because I've been mentioning like a lot of rumors and where guys could go next. Like do you see Ryback potentially pursuing the title after this? Do you see Bray maybe
No,
turning babyface after this?
I don't think either one of those things is going to happen within the realm of this feud.
I just would like to see some guy get elevated somewhere after this feud because I'm excited by this feud, but I'm even more excited about the fallout where these guys could go with it from here. But yeah,
I
just
think
wanted to
that
give you
these guys could both end up being in the Elimination Chamber.
for the Intercontinental Championship. Yeah, that is actually a very interesting possibility. I would not be opposed whatsoever. So that is definitely something to consider.
Okay, we have 3 matches left, all 3 of which are title defenses. Let's talk about the tag team championship match first. 2 out of 3 falls. The New Day versus Kid and Cesaro. New Day going in as champs. They've got the champion's advantage. What are you picking here, John?
Dude, first off, I've got to say that this match, by a very slim margin, mind you, but it did edge out the Fatal 4-Way as the match I'm most looking forward to. Because these two teams are fantastic. My only concern, as somebody actually brought up a really great point, WWE, at least on the main roster, I feel like NXT is better at this, but WWE does not really know how to pace a 2 out of 3 falls match. So that's a bit of a concern, but I still think this is going to be a barn burner for these two teams, and I can't wait. It's
WWE might not know how to pace it, but all 4 of the guys that are going to be in this match definitely do.
yeah, that's actually a great point. It's funny, Ashton, because the tag team division is in such a weird place. Like the Lucha Dragons are still definitely relevant, right? But they've definitely kind of cooled down, in my opinion, from recent weeks.
I don't even know if I would call them relevant anymore.
Really?
Well, when was the last time we saw them? Probably before Extreme Rules, wouldn't it be?
I think we saw them like a SmackDown or 2 ago against Los Matadores, and I was even just getting ready to mention them. They seem like they're getting ready to split from El Torito, and the team as a whole may split, either that or turn heel, which I would certainly prefer.
I don't know if you heard this or not, but rumor has it Los Matadores splits from El Torito. El Torito sides with the Lucha Dragons, and suddenly Los Matadores pick up Hornswoggle, and we get another 6-man feud, kind of like what we had a couple summers ago with Los Matadores and Torito versus 3MB and Hornswoggle.
Yeah, it's really Groundhog Day for those 6 individuals. It's really sad that we just cannot get out of this loop. The primetime players, that's another thing. Like, they've been imitating all of these teams for weeks, and I've been waiting for a payoff, and I'm like, it's not going to come. So now people are probably wondering, well, why the hell are you talking about this in the context of this match? Because I'm trying to think who the next contender is going to be. Because really, if it's going to be Babyfaces and Lucha Dragons, obviously you go with the New Day here. But if something's going to come out of this whole primetime players mocking every team, and we're going to have this big free-for-all, maybe even at Chamber, or somewhere, maybe on the Raw to determine them.
I don't think the primetime players have mocked Lucha Dragons yet, have they?
I don't believe they have. I honestly can't remember, but I'm going to say they haven't yet.
I feel like the teams that they've mocked, they got New Day, they got Los Matadores, and I know they got the Ascension. Is that it?
I think so. I think you got them all, dude.
Okay.
But you know what? I'm really forced to pick one here. Wow, this is even tougher than I thought it was going to be when we first started talking about
See,
it.
and the more we've been talking, I've completely sold myself on one of these teams.
And you know what? I think I'm kind of overthinking it, so I'm going to keep it simple. I say New Day retains here.
Yeah, exactly. That's my choice too.
Yeah, but
That'll. I mean, Kid and Cesaro are great,
yeah.
but I just feel like New Day is gonna find some kind of a cheaty way to win, so that Kid and Cesaro get another match.
And let's be honest here, nothing against Kid and Cesaro, because you know I love both guys to death, and I speak highly of both of them. But New Day's been on a freaking roll. You don't crash the train abruptly. I don't think. I mean, they recently won a handicap match against Randy Orton and Roman freaking Reigns. They're not dropping these belts. I think that they're getting more TV time. You know that they're so on point with their promos. I laughed when they accused Kid and Cesaro of double dipping and like why they're all evil and stuff. They've finally clicked, and they're one of the most overacts, getting that heat and everything on WWE. So I feel like they're gonna ride that train till the end for one babyface team, presumably the Lucha Dragons to capitalize. So yeah, New Day's retaining here.
Agreed.
All right, so what match do you want to talk? Well, I guess it's pretty straightforward what match we're gonna talk about next, right?
Yes, Cena Rusev.
Um, what is there to say? To me, this isn't even so much about the United States Championship or even really Cena Rusev, but really just the finish. And is this going to be the breaking point for Lana Rusev? Because one dominant theory is rather than make Rusev quit, you'd have Lana throw in the towel out of concern for his welfare.
Yeah.
And, Rusev just blows up at her because he never quit and she cost him the United States Championship again. Like he blamed her for WrestleMania. Don't really know if you can get away with it that much at Extreme Rules given the nature of that match and, now here at Payback. So then you finally have the break and she goes on to be the babyface and Rusev goes on to wherever. Also, I think John Cena's open challenge, it's not going to end now with Rusev winning. No way. I think his title reign is going to come to an end at one of these open challenges, not a pay-per-view. I'll just put it to you like that right now.
I agree.
So, given all those facts, I just think Cena's going to retain here. There's really not much for discussion, honestly. So.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that there are two very interesting routes to me that they could go, both involving Lana. The first is, like you said, she throws in the towel and then Rusev loses because of that. The second is Rusev threatens to do something to her and Cena quits to save her.
See, now that would be interesting because I feel like even though Rusev wouldn't have been quote unquote the better man and it wouldn't have been a dominant, decisive victory, I think it would get him so much heat and really make Lana be cheered even more. It would make me more comfortable with their break that Rusev was going to be okay. Because anybody that threatens, a woman, especially a woman that's become as beloved as Lana, in the WWE,
Yeah.
just instant scumbag, I think, in a
Yep.
lot of people's eyes. So I honestly would be totally cool with that route. And seeing as I quit match winning streak would finally come to an end.
Now,
So,
let me be perfectly clear here. I do not think that would happen, but
right.
what I do think is that the only way Rusev is winning this match is if that does happen.
Yeah, definitely.
That is literally the only possible way that I can see Rusev winning this match. Like, if there are 1,000 scenarios in this match, that's the one that Rusev wins, and John Cena just has 999 different scenarios of him winning.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, if anybody's watched an I Quit match with John Cena in it, and you see what the opposition tried doing to him to make him quit, I mean, my mind immediately goes to Randy Orton back in 2009. If Randy Orton couldn't get that man to quit after all he made him endure, nobody's making him quit.
Yeah.
All right, so it's
exactly.
not happening.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, that's that really. We agree. That's a pretty quick fix. Let's move on to the main event, and I think we're going to agree on this too. Rollins, Reigns, Ambrose, Orton. We have a fatal four-way for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, where if Rollins fails to retain the championship, Kane gets fired. Or we're meant to assume that Kane gets fired. It was never directly said by Triple H that he'd be fired.
I know this is going to come off incredibly hyperbolic, and I can even concede potentially to a point, deservedly so. I feel like Ambrose has really made this match, personally, for me. I feel like his addition has really made my interest go up tenfold because I've loved his interactions. I've loved that he stood tall now, I think twice. I feel like him, kind of interacting with all of his other former Shield mates has been really cool, particularly Reigns on this past SmackDown. I thought they had a great segment to close the show. So Ambrose, I think, is added, not necessarily a much needed flavor, because I do like all three guys when it was originally the triple threat, but Ambrose, I just think, puts this Fatal 4-Ways over the moon. It's going to be a really fun main event. That said, let's not kid ourselves. Again, I honestly don't really believe there's much to discuss here unless we wanted to discuss the future. I think Rollins is definitely retaining. My only point of contention is that everybody's jumping the gun that Ambrose is eating the pin here. I think Orton's eating the pin, honestly. I think Rollins is going to put a nail in the coffin of Orton being a title contender. He's going to send him to the back of the line to do something new. I think Orton's going to eat the pin in this match, and I've already kind of told you multiple times, Ashton, what I think Ambrose and Reigns are going to do. I think they're going to have a number one contenders match like on a Raw. Reigns wins it, and it'll be Reigns versus Rollins at Elimination Chamber. And I just feel like Ambrose is going to ride this momentum to win Money in the Bank this year. And I know you've kind of had similar feelings of, Ambrose Money in the Bank. So,
I actually am siding with the sort of majority here. I do think Ambrose is going to eat the pin.
yeah.
For two reasons. First of all, he's been built up so much over the last 2 weeks, and the WWE can't possibly have somebody actually stay strong for more than that amount of time. They're freaking, tit for tat, even Steven booking. They can't let somebody get too hot. That's not
Right.
John Cena.
Yeah.
So that, but then also, I think the WWE is looking at Dean Ambrose and basically saying to themselves, he's already the Money in the Bank holder. Like, we might as well just chalk it up. He is our Money in the Bank guy this year. Let's just start the losing a little earlier.
Yeah, right. That really is a great point, that the Money in the Bank holder is not really the most probably booked. Though Rollins came out all right for the most part.
He lost almost every match, dude.
I
think that Rollins' reign as Mr. Money in the Bank, I'm pretty sure he lost a solid 80% of his matches.
I would actually like somebody to look that up as far as pay-per-view matches go. And
yeah,
yes,
well, no, I mean all matches total.
Yeah, but I feel like he won more than he lost. But I don't want to
stay on
this.
There's no way. There's no way.
I have to disagree. I feel like he.
I literally just saw on Reddit the other day a list of everybody in WWE's record, and everybody who has been a heel for all of 2015 had a losing record.
Damn. I guess, yeah, damn. That's just because I thought Rollins really was doing better than most. But regardless, I'm sticking by what I said. I think
from what I remember, Rollins was in the bottom 10.
Oh, wow. But I do think Orton's eating the pin here. I do think Rollins is going to retain. I know another interesting question people have been floating around. Are the Shield going to reunite? I honestly see a spot occurring in this matchup where maybe Rollins tries to galvanize the troops, but maybe he's a bit too annoying about it because, he's a heel. And then Ambrose and Reigns, they turn on him, and then, they kind of triple powerbomb him with the assist from Orton. That's what I see happening. But I would mark out for a Shield reunion. I'll say that right now.
You know what I want?
What's that?
Because I know the WWE is never actually going to do it, and if they do, it'll be really terribly done. I want somebody that's really good at video editing to take the last, oh my God, I don't know, 22, no, not that long, not 22, 10, the last 10 months worth of content, starting with Seth Rollins turning on Ambrose and Reigns in the middle of the ring with that chair shot, and the random fan going, no! Starting with that, and showing every little interaction that the Shield has had with each other and with the Authority up until this point.
Interesting.
Because there are some ridiculously amazing fan theories going on that they were in on it the whole time, and that the whole point was the three biggest problems for the Shield when they broke up were Evolution,
right.
Bray Wyatt, and Brock Lesnar. And over the course of the following 10 months, Seth Rollins infiltrating the Shield, or infiltrating the Authority, Batista quit that night, and he got Randy Orton kicked out of the Authority. So that weakened the Authority, and then basically they're a shell of their former selves. Rather than having frickin' Batista and Randy Orton, now they've got Kane and The Big Show. That's really scary. Dean Ambrose spent a good 4 or 5 months feuding with Bray Wyatt, so that he took care of him. and Bray Wyatt ended up going against The Undertaker then. And then Reigns took care of Lesnar. He didn't technically take care of him, but that was his target. Like, those were their targets, where Rollins was to infiltrate the Authority from the inside, Ambrose was supposed to take care of Wyatt, and Reigns was supposed to take care of Lesnar and win the title. And the way it turned out, Rollins ended up winning the title, but the goal was to get the title off of Lesnar, and they succeeded at that.
You know, that's an interesting fan theory. I do have to think, though, of Rollins, representing the Authority at Survivor Series and losing, but then threatening Edge to get them back into power as a little bit of a hole.
Every fan theory has its holes.
Right.
But it's just still really, there's even a fan theory that says that Bray Wyatt and the Nexus, like going back to the Nexus days, that they were all working for Triple H and the Authority.
Really interesting.
And the thing that makes that fall apart was David Otunga.
Yeah. I love, though, people's dedication of piecing things together, like how the Shield can come back together. Because you and I think, even had discussions on Twitter. Well, like, the Shield, once they broke up, they entered that DX territory where a reunion's going to happen in a few years, and people are going to go freaking crazy for it. Yep. I just don't think this is the time, not to take out Randy Orton, only for them to quickly dissolve on each other.
Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, it would be the 1-year anniversary, because wasn't the Rollins turn the night after Payback last year?
Was it? You actually might be right about that. Because, yeah, you know what? They had their first match against Evolution Extreme Rules, and then the elimination match was Payback. And then the Raw after was the turn. Yeah, you're right. Because then Money in the Bank came after that, I think. Yeah. It all matches up.
How about that?
That's crazy. So no wonder they've got all three members of the show. I don't know if that was intentional or if that was just a happy accident, but regardless, very interesting. Well, you know my thoughts, Ashton. Seth Rollins is retaining, Orton's eating the pin. So I'm guessing, what's your prediction? Seth Rollins retains, but Ambrose eats the pin?
Oh, yeah, correct. I do have to wonder, though. I wonder if we're going to get a heel turn in this match. Because last year at this time, Rollins, by the end of the Monday night after Payback, Rollins and Orton were heel, and Ambrose and Reigns were face.
Right.
But in this case, we've got 3 faces and 1 heel. So is someone going to turn to even the odds?
People have been calling for Ambrose to turn for a while. They want everybody to see the magnificence of a Dean Ambrose heel turn.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're the Dean Ambrose guy, right? Like, I'm the Johnny Mundo guy. You're the Dean Ambrose guy. Do you think it's time for Dean Ambrose to turn heel?
Do I think it's time? No. Do I think it will be time over the course of the next year, maybe and a half? Yes.
Yeah, I would agree with that perfectly, actually, because I feel like he needs to ride this babyface momentum to Money in the Bank. If he wants to turn during the course of holding that case, or even have a heelish cash in,
that's what I was thinking, actually.
Yeah, I would not be opposed at all. So, glad to see that we're kind of thinking alike on that. Is there anything else you want to say about this match?
Not really.
All right, I think we're done here, because I really have nothing else to say.
Wow, this went way quicker than I thought it would.
Yeah, absolutely. Even with our slight disagreements, like, they weren't, so pernicious as to bring out, like, this whole discourse.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think honestly, I'm not super duper hyped for this card, but there are 2 matches that I'm thoroughly looking forward to. Those 2 matches being the main event and the tag team match.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know what? I'm actually quite looking forward to the 2 mid-card non-title matches too. Barrett, Neville, and Ziggler, Sheamus. Those should be awesome. But on that same note, I feel like those are basically Raw matches. Just really good Raw matches.
Yeah. And I'll admit, like, I really am very intrigued about how Ryback and Bray Wyatt are going to hook up. Yep. What their chemistry is going to be in ring and all that stuff. Like, how their styles
have we ever seen those guys fight before in a match?
I don't believe we have.
Huh. Interesting.
So this is a fresh matchup.
All right. Well, hey, that being said, guys, I guess we're gonna close it out here. We'll see you for live reactions. It is currently Saturday night, so we'll see you for live reactions tomorrow night, if not Monday morning. I believe I said that during our ROH New Japan Global Wars live reactions. So yeah, I guess we'll see you guys tomorrow for live reactions. How about that, John?
I am super pumped for that. That always makes the pay-per-view 10 times better, so you're not going to want to miss it, guys, I promise.
Absolutely, guys. Make sure to check out our ROH New Japan live reactions. The show was crazy good, especially the main event. It was an amazing show. And we will see you for the second round of live reactions for the weekend, that being Payback tomorrow night.
Gonna be good.
Absolutely.